everyone, it's defo absolutely on the nose, 7 p.m. It's definitely Thursday, and therefore it's definitely Thursday Night Pint. Little sidebar, I 100% apologise to the people who caught the first attempt to do this stream, and therefore any gags or difficulties in hearing my delivery for the next couple of seconds, I apologise wholeheartedly for. We've got a wonderful set of guests with me this week for the final Thursday Night Pint of the season, and because, you know, if things don't go well tonight and at the weekend, it might be the final Thursday Night Pint ever, so buckle in. Yes, our guests are incredible. One in particular I've waited a very long time to get on the show. It's Ste, spoilers. We are going to be looking at Jurgen Klopp's biggest summer challenges, looking ahead to the summer post-season, what's he got to do in terms of transfers in, transfers out, tactical, man management, all of those things. In the middle section, we're bringing back Rate My Take. The thumbs are back in the house. We're going to be rating your wildest football opinions and conspiracy theories from this season. And then in part 3, we're going to be previewing the final match of the season, Southampton versus Liverpool. But before all that, it's time to look back again on the week in Liverpool, and of course we rewind the clock to the weekend. Liverpool's Champions League hopes dashed with a 1-1 draw at the hands of Aston Villa at Anfield, leaving us with the very stark reality that Manchester United now need to lose their final 2 games of the season, 2 back-to-back games, to even allow Liverpool the opportunity to get into the Champions League, and it'll be on goal difference only. I wouldn't get too excited about the prospect of that, of course, because Manchester United obviously in imperious form under Erik ten Hag, a dominant force, back almost to Fergie levels of quality this season, and they haven't lost 2 back-to-back games since, well, 2 weeks ago, actually, as it turns out, when they lost to Brighton and West Ham. Can I just shock you? They play Chelsea tonight. I've always liked Frank Lampard, always been a big fan, despite the 13 years of abuse and slander that I've sent his direction. The parodies, the impressions, the use of the words Fat Frank for no reason when he's been built like a brick shithouse, and I've been rather overweight myself in most of that period. Always liked him, always thought he was a good manager. Do it for us, Fat Frank Lampard Jr. Right, Roberto Firmino also signed off his Anfield career in that Aston Villa game, and he did so in style, bagging a goal, getting serenaded by the cop, and being hugged to tears by Alisson Becker. It does remain to be seen, and maybe it will remain unprovable, whether the tears were actually the knock-on impact of the emotion of the situation, your final game in front of your home fans for a club that's made your name, or whether it's simply because being hugged by the supreme godlike specimen that is Alisson Becker would bring any mortal man to tears. I've no idea. I suspect it's probably a bit of both. Moving forward, then, the Villa game. Not only, actually, as a complete sidebar to this, not only did we basically increase our chances of being knocked out of the Europa League by Unai Emery again, by allowing them to draw this, it also saw the departure of a legendary Liverpool midfielder. Well, you know, a legend of the game. The 6th most expensive midfielder of all time, departing from Anfield. Didn't really seem to draw the headlines, maybe as much as it should have done, for a player that's played for 3 legendary football clubs in Europe. Played for Liverpool, technically. Played for Barcelona, played for Juventus. Yes, Artem Melo. That was his final showing at Anfield. He got to say goodbye and probably hello, thinking about it, to the Anfield faithful, and he will have been in that lap of honour, probably. No one cares. I didn't notice because, why would you? I'm not even sure he's a real human being at this point. He's definitely on FIFA, definitely the 6th most expensive midfielder of all time, and he's apparently been at Liverpool this season. That's all I can say. Some of the players who did get the send-off that they duly deserved were, of course, Naby Keita, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, and James Milner. And I don't know if anyone noticed that Naby, true to form, true to life, managed to get injured into collecting his commemorative frame. Perfectly on brand. Peak Naby. Perfect. All joking aside, should I say, from everyone at Redmen TV, obviously people have their favourite footballers, and there's players who are, you know, cast in bronze, deserving of statues and honours and awards and you know, a huge lengthy chants. But everyone who played for Liverpool in this period of success that's just preceded, you know, this season is a Liverpool legend. All 3 go with the fondest wishes of everyone at Redmen TV. Good luck for the future, gents, and we hope you hold Liverpool in a firm and proud place in your hearts. That should be the end of the news, but it's not, because apparently Trent and Hendo have been called up to the England squad. Boo England, boo Southgate, who ultimately gives a shit. Can they not just let us get to the end of this season, for God's sake, get through it, shut down for 24 hours, and then go back to stressing about transfers for the rest of the summer? Fucking international football. What are they talking about? What are they doing? Honestly, exhausting. Absolutely exhausting. I've got to save all that energy for the exhausting nature of supporting a football team during a transfer window. Not worried about England call-ups. Damn you, Southgate. Right, that is the week in Liverpool. This is here, this is now. It's Thursday Night Pint. Let me welcome my guests to the studio, starting first and foremost with the sexiest bald man whose name isn't Vin Diesel. It is Mr. Ste Chloe.
That was an elongated stand outside by the toilets, that one.
Yes. No, because we're perfectly on time and there's been no technical hitches whatsoever up to this point.
Okay, perfect, yeah.
We can all agree that.
Yeah, let's lie.
Yeah, let's crack on. Steve is joined on the couch alongside the Queen of Redmen TV. It is the wonderful, it is the amazing, it is Chloe Bloxham.
Hi, Chloe.
Hello.
You good?
Yeah.
What time did you get up today?
I don't know. I was looking after my nephew all night, so it was quite like every hour I was waking up by either being punched in the face or kicked in the face.
You're too embarrassed to say what time you woke up this morning, weren't you?
No. It was like 6, 7, 8, 9. I think he got up about 10.
My heart fucking bleeds for you, Chloe.
I know. What
Doesn't
can I
it,
say?
I'd done like a school run, a wash.
That's your choice, though. You had kids.
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
Let's go with choice, yeah. You might see this when they're older.
Love you guys. Right, so that is just the first of our special guests. It is the star of KOPP TV and DR Sport as well. It is Alex Gildea Trott. Big fan of a man who claps himself into the room.
I was
as well.
clapping you.
Yes!
You.
More of me!
Yeah, clapping for claps.
AGT.
It takes me way back to lockdown days, you know, and we're all... Anyway, that's a different show.
Yeah, banging your pots and pans together and all that kind of stuff. You doing good?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it, man.
Enjoying the clement Liverpool weather today?
Do you know what? This is one of the best days on record of all time. I was round the docks earlier and it was unbelievable. Not a cloud in the sky. So it must mean we're in for a good show.
Absolutely, right? Yes. I mean, that's not... I'm not sure they're linked factors, but we'll try our best regardless.
We'll link
we do have our final and exceptionally wonderful guest as well, who is chomping at the bit. Chomping at the bit to get on. It is the 1PW Women's Champion. It is Lizzy Evo. Come on.
With the belt.
Thank you.
Yes, Lizzy. Finally.
It's about time, isn't it?
I love that. About time.
It's about time, innit?
About time we got our act together and got you on the show.
It's been a long time coming. We have tried a bit like trying to get dates to work. You're a very busy.
That's what I mean. It's about time I was able to like get the time. Like I had to switch my schedule today to get on. I was like, I'm not missing it. It's actually happened. I'm not missing it this time.
There you go. Absolutely amazing. Well, yes, we will have a good old chat with the guys, and we're going to be doing Redmen Uncensored on Redmen Plus after the show, where we'll get to have a bit of a free-form life chat. If you want to know more about our guests, come and join us for that one. But we are here to talk the mighty Reds. We're going to talk about Klopp's biggest summer ever, potentially as the Liverpool boss. I want to know what the biggest challenges that he's facing are. We'll get into them all, into the nitty-gritty of it, but just to kind of get the ball rolling, Steve, pick a challenge that he has to face this summer.
He has to revamp a whole midfield in one go, while replacing icons of the football club. That's not easy. You know what I mean? That's a big challenge. You know, he's got not only. I've always felt, obviously, the first summer aside, he had to. You know, it was a work in progress. He's won everything, and now it's the other way around. He's got to go back again the other way. So he's now got to he's almost starting afresh. He's doing a rebuild, isn't he? So, you know, when you lose Firmino and you lose Milner, they're big personalities, but we've got to get better players. And it's been a while since you could like see a glaring weakness in Liverpool's team. That's been a long time since we saw that. It's always been a nice to have here, or maybe a little polish around the edges there. But no, he's now got there's a major hole that he needs to go and fill.
I think that's a really good point, and definitely we'll talk about the transfers. Chloe, anything for you?
He's not just got to reach the Arsenal, the Manchester City, the United of this season. He's got to try and predict what they're going to be like next season, try and match that and better that, whilst also doing it with a new system. He's got to make sure he makes the correct signings. Liverpool can't afford to not get the correct people in, and he's also got to find a plan B, because we saw against Aston Villa our new plan A did not work. You now need to either revert back to the 4-3-3, you need to find something different that we can do that can unlock teams who just want to sit 11 men behind the ball and counter attack you. So yeah, he's got a lot to do in terms of bringing players in and trying to reach a level that we're not yet seeing, because the teams who are above us are also getting a summer transfer window, and they're also at the moment probably more attractive to players because they've got top four. That's just as simple as it's going to be. So you've got to be as good as they are next season whilst also sorting out a new system.
I think I agree with everything you guys have said. I agree with the fact that it's the most important summer he's ever had as a Liverpool manager in terms of that rebuild. One of the most important decisions is what are we going to do with Trent? And if we put him into midfield, we need to buy a new right back. Or are we going to carry on playing the inverted role and not buy a right back and use him sparingly in midfield? Because you can't use him in every game in that position. So there's just so many important decisions that he's got to make. And now we've got a sporting director. Hopefully he can take some of that weight off his shoulders. But the Trent question, it's like a Spanish Inquisition. Do you play him in the midfield? And if you do that, does Calvin Ramsey step up? Does Conor Bradley step up? Or do we go and get someone new altogether?
It feels, Lizzy, like, yeah, there's a lot of things, and we talked about, I think it's a combination of all of this stuff as well. You know, he's got to get the right pre-season under his belt.
Yeah.
That was one of the big mistakes of last year, was by all accounts, and he said it himself, they got that wrong.
Yeah.
He can't afford to get this one. He can't afford to have two bad seasons back to back.
No, especially after we got rid of Sadio as well. I feel like that was when I started to notice, wow, shit, we're crumbling here.
Yeah.
And I think now Bobby going as well, that's going to be hard to replace Bobby anyway. But Sadio gone, then Bobby, and then all the others that have left, like Chamberlain. I know he didn't really play much, but like as a backup player, Naby, Milner, they're important players really. So like you said, you've got to look at players that are going to want to come to us after the season we've just had, plus putting the work in them areas, like Trent moving into midfield, and it looks like it's going to be his hardest one yet. Like,
yeah,
And also, Paul, sorry, he's got to manage up as well as down.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of change happening above him. You know, so is the club for sale? Are we getting investment?
Yeah.
New sporting director, sort of, but he's here for 3 months, and then he's also got to try and replace him. The CEO changed, and it's Billy Hogan now, and so not only he has to worry about what's going below him, he's also managing up. He's almost become like what Alex Ferguson was. He is Liverpool at the moment. He's everything, and that must be dead. Like it must be exhausting for him, and he's trying to get help, and we know he likes to delegate, but and you'll know the same thing, mate. Like, it's all well and good delegating your business out, but if it goes tits up, you bring it back, and it's right, I'm at the wheel again, kind of thing. And it feels like he's done that a little bit as well. So not only he's got to fix his team and his squad and get them, get the players, the mentality, but get the signings done. He's also got to worry and half deal with what's going above him, because he has says in it. He was involved in hiring the sporting director. He'll be constantly in talks with FSG, and he's admitted that he met John Henry the other week to plan the future. So he's managing up and managing down in a town, and like Chloe says, when he first had to do it, the competition wasn't as fierce. There was no Newcastle. You know what I mean? Arsenal were a shambles. Man United were pretty much becoming a shambles. It was it wasn't that hard, I don't think, to get back into the top four, really. It wasn't that hard. Now there's 6-7 teams who are vying for that, and that's top four. That isn't like winning the league. So I think it's, like Alex said, it's a way different summer. It's a way bigger summer, and our margin for error isn't as big as some of those teams as well. We can't afford to get as many things wrong. We got one summer wrong last year, and look what happened now. Yeah. Man City got a summer wrong a couple of years ago because fuck, they want to win the treble. You know what I mean? Like because they got the next one right in the pool. It's weird. We play the margins, we play the percentages so fine that one bad decision and look what happens.
The point as well is he's got to get, once he gets the players in, he's got to get buy-in. He's actually got to get them all up to speed. He's got to think about, it's daft things, but he's got to think about like team bonding.
Yeah,
you've got to have these
them.
players integrated before you can get the best out of them as well.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing as well, because if they don't click, they're not going to play well together, are they?
Little Night in Pop World would solve that.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like, I'm sure Jurgen Klopp will be able to generate a solution
surely.
to the team
He's not
bonding
sure, is he?
situation. Like, think to a frozen lake somewhere, and go fishing or something.
He's sponsored by Erdinger, isn't he? Maybe he just gets them all on the ale.
And Wilson as well. He's the face of Wilson Paddle as well.
Yeah.
So
To be fair, though,
get
He's just going to
paddle.
beat them up if they.
looking at how well Gakpo fitted in and Nunes and stuff, I do feel like it's doable with whoever comes in. They can. I feel like it's a team that like kind of welcomes people when
Yeah.
they first come in.
Yeah.
There's no bad eggs. Like,
Yeah, so I feel like that's important. So that'll probably be a strong point, the team bonding, I think. But it's just getting the players in.
And
That's
also,
the hard part.
Like, he has lost Milner, and I think Milner was a key part.
Key,
Not only
yeah.
with the he speaks Spanish. He was, he was the leader who was able to do it. He managed everything. He was the boss of the dressing room, wasn't he? He done the fines. He showed them the right way. He was the example. So Jurgen's also got to hopefully identify someone who can fill. I'm guessing it's Virgil van Dijk, who's the vice captain now, steps up into that role. But he's a different type of thing. Virgil, he's just that good. Like, it's almost, maybe it's Robertson, I don't know, but he's also got to figure that out, because it's all, I agree, the way we've integrated players, it's almost been seamless. There's never been really anyone come in and you think, oh no, not bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's got to go. Because we've seen other teams have had it.
Yeah.
Man United have had it for a long
Sacco
time.
was one of them, and
He went.
Yeah.
He has that. So that's another thing. He's got that's something that he's looking after, is like who becomes his voice in the dressing room. If it's because Henderson's the captain, and I think Jordan plays the nice cop, and Milner was bad cop, and he was happy to do it because he was like, "Fucking Jay, I've won everything, mate. I've been playing for 20 years.
Yeah,
like,
he couldn't he?
Don't give a
Get
fuck,
away
you know what I
with
mean? Like, kind of thing. Who's he got playing the bad cop role now? Does he have to be bad cop? Does the manager have to do that? That he's got that to figure out as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's a big thing. We'll go through them then in a bit more detail. I want to know, just in terms of transfers, in terms of what we've got already, which of the current players are you entertaining offers for, Chloe? Someone comes to you in the summer, looking at the current squad and says, I want him. Who's on your absolutely not for sale list, and who's on your I'd think about a cheeky bid if you can.
I haven't even thought of that, because I'm more bothered. I don't know whether we've got the time to sell anyone else, because we've got so many holes to already, fit. There's no way that we can start thinking about, if you give me 150 for Salah, yeah, because why not? We don't have another right winger. We don't have anyone who can do that. I can't entertain the idea of, sell Thiago right now because he's only got 1 year left and he's injury prone and he's been, let's be perfectly honest, not consistent enough because he's not fit enough.
You might have just answered it.
I might have just answered it, but I also couldn't entertain that because there's another midfielder. If we couldn't spend as much as we wanted to begin with, and now we've already realised that, look, Stefan Bajeta just absolutely boss. Curtis Jones stepping up's been brilliant. But I think it'd be ludicrous if you thought them two are going to be absolutely sound next season. No, they've helped you out in terms of squad and in terms of competition, but it doesn't mean that they're just the two that can slot next season. The two young, Curtis Jones has had some injuries crop up this season, which is unfair on him. They've been boss, but you need rotation. You need to do what we want to do to be back at the top. You need to be able to have a squad depth that we don't have right now.
I think there's people, Alex, who would, and not necessarily all the same people for all the same players, who would happily see Henderson and Thiago moved on in the summer.
Yeah, I mean, now that Milner's gone, like we just said, Hendo kind of moves into that role, who becomes the new Milner. Thiago, for me, I mean, we've spoken about it before, he is, on his day, one of the best footballers I've ever seen play at Anfield. The way that United game last season, the Porto goal, but we haven't seen it enough. Now, I'm not saying that's enough for me to say, if someone offers 20, we'll take it. Because again, how many midfielders are we going to get rid of here? There's about 6 if you include him and Henderson. So I'd definitely keep them too. I think Nat Phillips is maybe someone that I'd listen to. Again, I'm one of his biggest fans. Like, I love that guy so much. I don't think he's ever made a mistake for Liverpool. So
his mistake's been saying he'll stay at
Staying.
Liverpool.
He
fair play
deserves
to him,
that.
do you know what I mean? He's with Liam Gallagher's daughter, so he can do what he wants. But at the same time, he's 24, 25. He needs game time. And it's got to the point now, it's like, have you got any ambition? Because...
To be fair, I think he wanted to go. I think Liverpool, every time he's tried to leave, someone got injured.
He's been loyal to us.
I think
overly, maybe.
Matip, I would listen to offers for, and if none come for him, I'd consider Gomez and try and buy a better centre back. I think there's a massive Thiago call to be made if we hadn't just lost 3 midfielders.
Well, that's what I want.
The numbers just don't make sense in terms of.
Can't get rid of that many.
Well, are you gonna buy 5 midfielders in one window? We're struggling to buy 1 at the moment, trying to find freaking 5 of them. But I think, if Milner had signed a new contract and Chamberlain or Keita had stayed and were fit, then it might have been a conversation. But you can't lose 4 or 5 centre mids in one summer. That's just too much. But I'd go Phillips, Matip or Gomez. I'd go Carvalho.
Yeah,
I think I like Fabio Carvalho. He just doesn't fit in this team. There's no place
put him out on loan. I wouldn't sell him.
Go on, Lizzy, where'd you stand? Thiago? Would you?
No, I would definitely no.
It's too good.
Yeah,
It's too good.
I feel like when he plays, he holds that midfield well. He really does, and he connects players. But Nat Phillips maybe, just because he doesn't get game time and
he's just not at the level. That's his problem. I love him, and again, no one's got a bad word to say about Nat Phillips, but there's no world where Nat Phillips is better than the other.
Try and max out 15, 17 mil.
Yeah,
you know.
I also think that with Thiago, I think we have to just treat him as a luxury now.
Yeah.
Do not build your team expecting Thiago to be fit. Have him as the nice to have. So build a team.
Storage, almost.
Yeah. Build a team where he pretend he doesn't exist, and when he's available, you'll just play him until he gets hurt. And you go, all right, Sam, we'll move right away. Because I think we did build a team around him. Yeah, when we bought him, the plan we changed everything because he was new.
It's him and the idea is him and Naby, and the idea is they're both similar sort of model of footballer. Great feet, great on the ball, good progressive passes, but injury prone. But it's fine, and they'll tag out. And in the quadruple run, the back end of the season, it works perfectly. Naby just comes in and he actually rotates with Henderson as well. And then we start this season and they both get injured, and then it just looks an absolute disgrace. And that's I mean, Lizzy, that's the thing that's going to count against them, and I think that's the point, is that you're not going to get any more money for Thiago. So if you wait a year, he's not worth more money. And I think we've got a couple of this. I'll give you an example. Fabinho. If someone comes in with an offer for Fabinho this summer...
No, I think he's one of our strong players. I don't think Fabinho would be, in my opinion anyway. Yeah. I think everyone's different, but I think he has some bad games, but when he plays his best, he does well in the midfield, and he's always there for the blocks and shit like that. So I don't think Fabinho would be on my list of getting rid of coming up.
I think if we were boss, he would be on mine. And if we're going to go back to it, there's just two... I can't think of a single midfielder I'd accept a bid for now, because we've just lost 3 of them. And that just
feel so weak.
And Jude Bellingham isn't coming. Mason Mount looks like he's not coming. There's Gravenberch, just trying to get him. Like, there are just 5 readily made available you can just go and pinch and get. If there was, then sound, go and do it. And even that's a big ask. So I can't fathom a world where they let any midfielder go. I think it'd be nonsense. Unless they literally, I've got a list now of 4 ready to come in. Our new mate Schmadka's going to come in with a list of German lads and go bang, 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 bang. If that isn't going to be the case, I think it's nonsense, because we've just lost 3 lads who were in that position. It makes no sense.
Do you know what? Maybe 10 games ago I would have said Curtis Jones.
Yeah.
But now he's probably going to start next season, isn't he? Because of his run that he's gone on the last couple of months. So, like Steve said, there's just too many names leaving for you to entertain more, really.
Can I throw one out?
Mohamed Salah.
Fuck off. No, Kostas Tsimikas.
He was crying the other day, wasn't he? What was that about?
Because do you want your backup to Andy Robertson to be a centre-half? A left-back centre... Nathan Ake. Can you go and find yourself a Nathan Ake? Yeah. Because if we're going to stick with... And it goes back to what Alex said. If we're going to stick with Trent doing this boss midfield thing, maybe you want your left-back to be a centre-back and not be a left-back.
You couldn't have said that with more disdain than you've this tactic. Boys.
Yeah,
you're going to go on a rant about XG next.
I hate it's bollocks, isn't it? But whatever he is, the Trent role, whatever he's coming up with, is it box midfield? That's what Paige told me to say. I was saying hybrid for a while, but he corrected me. Whatever it is, do you want your left back to be a left back, or do you want him to? Because what I would say is that it's easy. I think Robertson kind of, you can just, because Robertson's at a level where he's that good, he can kind of do it. Tsimikas isn't that great a defender.
Yeah.
So do you want your it's almost like when we had Joe Gomez to back up Alexander-Arnold. Just worst case is someone who's a really good defender.
Yeah.
Costas, it might be you go and get 20 million for him and buy another centre half who's left-footed.
Yeah.
That would make sense to me. And I like Costas. I think he's brilliant, but he's a brilliant left back. I don't know if he's a left centre back.
I think Phillips can go, and it's not the fact that he just deserves it. He deserves to play footy. He could play in the Championship. He could play bottom half of the Premier League. He just could. He could walk into Burnley. We're coming up. I'm not too sure he can play the Company style that Company does want to play, but he can play.
It's all right. It's going to go horrendously wrong for them, and they're going to go back to like an old school dice.
Brexit
He can.
Tony Pulis is coming in at some point to keep Burnley up.
But he can play in the Premier League. I think Williams, let him go.
Yeah.
Let him go. Just let him go. He can go where he wants to. Fabio Carvalho, I'd put out on loan. Harvey Elliott, I'd obviously keep, but I think Liverpool need to find where the hell he is suited in this team, because right now he's not for me. I don't know where his best position is. I don't know where he plays if he is to start a game of football. But I'd obviously keep him. I think the front forwards, you keep every single one of them. I mean, you're losing Firmino already. I think you keep the centre halves, I'm being perfectly honest, because do you not remember a couple of years ago where one of us, we literally had midfielders at centre half. Matip and Gomez, you'd be lucky to see a full season out of them between the two of them.
Well, that's why I'd sell one.
But the problem is it's finding a player who's at the Liverpool want to go and challenge for the title next year. That's what they'll expect to do. You've got to find a player who can do that and also be consistent. I'm not sure you can find that
can I tell you
a
what
budget.
one of the biggest problems when it comes to this transfer stuff is the amount of players in that 29 to 32 age bracket that are still in the side, and you make exceptions for Salah. You make exceptions for Van Dijk and for Alisson because of Alisson's the position. Virgil and Salah, because they're the best in the world at what they do. But when you look at, like, to Steve's point about Joel Matip, I think he's brilliant. I don't think of that level, he's very, very underrated, how good a centre-half he is. But he's injury prone and he's in his 30s.
And the role's changed. You have to look at Ibu Kanate legs it. Because if Trent's not going to be there, someone's got to be there. And if Joel Matip broke down playing centre-back, he will break doing that. Do you
think we'd have enough money to get a left-sided centre-back, left-back and a right-sided centre-back? That's my problem. I think Kanate needs help. Kanate can't do that sweeper role all season long. And he's been injured, let's be honest. His injury record's not great.
If that's the case, though, is that two defenders? Because you're talking about replacing Tsimikas and Matip.
I think if you could get... Yeah, I think you could. If you could get... Again, it depends on who you can get, but if you sold Matip and Costas, and then bought two centre backs, and then you've effectively, because you are playing three of them every game, you need five. So I think that would make sense to me. But
on top of three midfielders as well, so that's
and
5
right
players.
I think
and maybe a right back,
two.
and you might need another forward because Salah, who knows where he'll be in a couple of years' time. You've got to think.
I
of the
don't worry about that.
situation.
Yeah, we're not good enough to be thinking about the future.
You say that, but Liverpool went and bought Katie Gakpo. It was. I loved the idea that they've done that now. Loads of people didn't at the time. But if he prioritised that over midfield, you can clearly tell that he was thinking of something there. The problem that Liverpool have caused themselves is they've never been too ahead of the game plan, which is why we're in this situation. I know we can't think about that, but don't be surprised if we go and get a youngster who's all right, who can go in the mix up top just for the sake of it.
I think we've got those youngsters already, though, haven't we? I think between Doak, potentially Gordon, if he comes, what player he comes back at, we don't know. Messi, like Barca didn't buy a Messi understudy, or didn't buy a Messi replacement, did they? Because he's that good. You just make it do when he's not. When you want to give him the occasional rest, it's the other positions that you need to worry about. Let's ask then, because we mentioned the name of Salah. Lizzy, who of the current players are you building this team around? You'll say, right, Klopp 2.0, these are the main men, the untouchables.
It's hard to tell at the minute, isn't it? It's really hard to tell.
Trent's not one, is he?
Probably, yeah. I would say Trent.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a moving position as well. And maybe Cody Gakpo as well.
Yeah. I totally agree with the Gakpo show. Yeah. I think that's what he's different. I didn't know what we bought. You know, we look like we bought another left winger, and then when you see him playing the 9, you're like, yeah, okay, so that's just
replaced.
I'm excited to see him get going properly.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's given a little teaser, but he hasn't got going properly yet.
Yeah.
So I feel like he'll be good when I see him like actually playing all the time and bagging with a good connection with a good team, but it's hard to see it at the minute.
When you say build, is it that just for next year or because
Virg would be on your list, but
Alisson, Van
no,
Dijk,
in years.
Canate, Trent, Salah,
Gakpo.
Gakpo, probably that.
Diaz.
Diaz, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
I like Diaz. I think he's good, but I don't think like I think they're the spine and then you're left with a little change because sometimes it'll be Jota and sometimes it'll be Darwin. I think that left hand side will change a bit. I love Jota, but it's hard for me to argue against Gakpo at the moment. I'd like to build a team around Jota because I think if you build a team around him, he would score for fun. But he obviously wants the Bobby Firmino replacement because that's what he's got in Gakpo. But listen, it's not all doom and gloom. They're world-class players we've just listed off there, you know what I mean? That's a lot of top players. It's just round the edges, it needs like a bit of refinement. And like I say, and it's notable, not one of us has said a midfielder. And every team in the world builds their team around the centre mid or a midfielder, and we haven't got...
There's none there to do. Trent is the only one.
Yeah.
Again, that for me,
whatever he is.
He's the central figure for me. He's 24 years old, he's Scouse. He's the captain in waiting. He's probably the best player we've got now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in terms of what he's got left to go, he's not even at his peak yet.
Yeah.
He's the one, and you fit everything else around him for me.
It's mad, like
100%.
our £80 million striker hasn't been brought up here either. You know what I mean? And that's no, but genuinely, that's what
I'm still a massive fan of him, and I do think once he finds, I know this is the cliche saying, but once he finds his range, maybe refines his finishing over the summer, I do think you are looking at a player that can score 35 plus in all comps. But would I build a team around him? Probably not. But I think Trent, just epitomises Klopp 2.0 in such a literal way. He's moved him to the middle, and look how we've played since. So you'd be silly not to just carry on doing that, wouldn't you?
The problem that I have though is, say he gets injured or something like that, your entire system's shot.
Yeah.
Because he is the one.
Rarely gets
that is...
injured though, does he?
No. And also,
touch your head, please. Why are you
but also, like,
Gotta say it,
but like, that's every world class player. You can't. I mean, if De Bruyne gets injured, Man City aren't as good. They've got great players. No,
They
they've
are
got.
kind of though.
No, they're not. They're not. They've got great.
We all think they are, and then we go, oh, I always have a few games. We're always just going to
They win 5-0 again.
No,
Bernardo Silva's playing it. All right, so Phil Foden's playing it.
No, they do it different. They do it in a different way. Like if Trent gets injured, then you just play forward.
I mean,
we don't
play right back.
You're right in terms of Chloe's right, because Arsenal are not the same team without Zinchenko in it, because he makes that system function for them. We haven't really seen enough of Stones in there consistently enough to say whether it's truly a back team. But City are so good; they've got like 3 different formations. They just switch.
That's
to
the
without
option if
it,
Trent
without
gets injured. I think. It goes back
well,
to
is that
the
the big challenge then? Is to actually, I think you hinted at it, Chloe. Make a plan B. What's your other system? What's you're banging your head against the wall and it's not working? What's your Trent out? Because you can't afford for that to happen. And look, world-class players actually don't get to be world-class unless they're also really injury-resistant as well. You get really, really good footballers, but they're never the world's best, because like Ronaldo, never injured. Messi, never injured. Suarez was never injured. Salah never injured, you know. But yeah, that's that. And Trent has had a couple of little bits and pieces, but you'd hope that he gets to be like that. But there's definitely something in that. Like, what is the backup plan? I've mentioned Bajcetic before. It's someone who can come in and functionally perform the bits. He's got the passing range. Maybe. I don't really want to see Thiago at right back, but Man City put Bernardo Silva at left back. You know what I mean? To do that job for them a couple of times as well.
It might be Bajcetic, you know, thinking about it. It could well easily be that name that, I mean, I think I saw him play, was it Strasbourg we played at the start of last season at home? And he played this pass and I was like, who is this? I'd heard of him before. I couldn't pronounce his name at the time, but what a player he was, by the way, until he got injured. And I know it's a fairly long injury as well. That worries me, this young. Can he come back from that? But he could be. If we're talking about spines, in terms of age, is he good enough 100%? I think we can see that at 18. I think he could be the guy that we actually look towards and go, let's build a midfield around this guy. Because he's still growing, he's still got to fill out. You know, who knows how good he's going to be in the next 3 to 4 years. But this bit right here, this season for him right now is so crucial.
I wouldn't be shocked, Paul, if he's in the team at the start of the season. Fabinho's out of it. Wouldn't shock me if the midfield, whatever you call it, is Bajcetic and Alexander-Arnold.
Who he signs is it's so unknown. Because I've said this in terms of how the whole all functions. You could just plug 2 midfielders in instead of Jones and Henderson, say, and all of a sudden everything works perfectly. We're levels above what we are. Or it could be, again, we don't know. Is Bajcetic a DM? Do they class him as that? Do they want to see him further forward? Do they want to see him deeper? He was a centre back when we signed him, so there's obviously options there. That's again what he's got to figure out this summer. He's got to get them all in and work out what can everyone do. Because I do feel like Henderson's performing a function for the team at the moment. I think he's just going, go on, I'll just. Yeah. I'll do this role, but it's not really his role because he doesn't score enough goals to play an attacking mid for Liverpool at this point. So I don't know where Jordan Henderson fits in long term in all this. The Fabinho stuff, is there more? Can he get back to his level, or are we starting to see, is his level now what we've seen the last couple of games, which has been good but not the best, and then he's going to hover around then? There's a lot to figure out. We've had a super chat. Michael Ramsey, clearly not a big fan of a number of Liverpool players, says, simple, replace Gomez with that guy from Palace. Sell rubbish.
Klein.
Yeah. Sell rubbish Elliott because you already have rubbish Jones.
Oh wow.
Those can't help the cost. You will. I'm right.
Are you sure you're a Liverpool fan, lad?
He's having a bad time there. Hawks. Just Hawks now. Says Bajcetic might be the only player that could be a stand-in. We have for Trent in the role Trent currently occupies. You can potentially fill in for 3 different positions. I agree on that one. It might be that you find that we talked about like the Milner thing. Between Bajcetic and Henderson, you might actually have Milner's replacement because you've got a young lad who can do a couple of positions and then an older
he's not afraid of a tackle as well, Bajcetic.
Mate, he can pass a ball.
And also him having Thiago around the place, that for me, we talk about Milner being a really strong influence, but for me personally, knowing that his dad played with Thiago's dad for Celta Vigo, that is like, you couldn't pick another player more suitable to have that arm around him and say, listen, play this pass instead of this one, look that way and play it that way. He has got the perfect professor, if you want, in Thiago.
The other thing is that, like, Bajcetic was the star of the show when Liverpool were at their worst this season. He was the light that everyone was like, he's the only thing we can take a positive out of this. Imagine him in a fully functioned, well-driven, drilled Liverpool side who's free-flowing. That's scary to think about because him as an 18-year-old was consistently becoming man of the match. He was the one who wasn't scared to hold the ball when everyone else was hiding and feeling sorry for himself. He was the one who showed up and said, pass me the ball and I'll do it for you then. And the fact that you can have that maturity at that age in a crap squad, I can't tell you how bad the away days were, honestly. But to imagine that in a squad where we've got a full pre-season, we've got lads in who will be better or should be better than the lads we've already got in those areas, and we've got a full pre-season to work out this new tactic, that's scary to think about as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Edward Joseph, 1808, has gifted 10 memberships on YouTube as well. Massive round of applause for that. Well done, my friend. Well done. Heroes. We love little late season heroes like that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, look, not to make everyone feel down, but that feels like a lot of work to be done this summer. But, I mean, look, Lizzy, that's where we're at, is Jurgen's got he's got the most in the bank that any manager could possibly have. And it could go not great next season. I think everyone would still want to stick by Jurgen Klopp. But I think he knows where he's at. I think he's seeing that, why he's putting his foot down over what Liverpool do in pre-season more. There's all this talk around, getting the transfers in early and all that stuff, because he knows. He's not daft.
Yeah, I think he's learned from his last mistake as well, hasn't he? He doesn't want to go down that road again and have the same mistake as last season, because I bet you that was one of the worst for them lads. Like, the season we've just had has been rubbish, hasn't it? I have hate everywhere I've been. I've had shit off everyone. Like, it has been the worst for me in the last few years. This season's been one of the worst. So I can't see him wanting to go into the next season the same way he went in the last one. He's gonna plan better. Obviously, I do think he'll do it.
He's already won some battles. He's got the tour changed. He's getting this camp in Germany that he didn't get last time. He got shipped off, didn't he? So the Singapore thing is much later, which I think is he wants. So he's already won a couple of battles. He's got, a sporting director in place now to maybe help him out a little bit. I don't know again how involved he was in help. He kind of said he wasn't when he done the press conference. Like, he wasn't my mate, but he kind of is his mate, isn't it? So he's already won a couple of battles. But you are right. The list is massive. That's what we're talking about now. There's more that we haven't touched on everything yet. So there's a lot to do, but I think he knows, mate. There's no way. And he said it himself. Like, this season, he called it he kept saying it's been a bad season. It's been a bad season. You're right. He's rightly got the credits in the bank. I'd get rid of every player before I got rid of him. Yeah. But he doesn't want this. I don't think he'll sign another contract. I think this is the last few years of Jurgen as a manager, potentially a club manager. He doesn't want to just go 4th, 5th, see you later. Yeah. He wants to win trophies again. So he's not going to.
The next challenge.
He's not going to hang around.
His challenge, and everyone keeps saying this, is how do you rebuild? Because the thing is, he has rebuilt. Every team he came into, he rebuilt, but he rebuilt it from someone else to his. He's never really truly had to rebuild his own team and keep it at the top level. But the best managers in the world do. That's your next. That's how you get into the next bracket. When you start to get into the Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger technically, although in reality I'm not sure his rebuild ever went. That's what he wants to avoid, is actually ending up like Arsene Wenger, where you are just in this constant mire of just being good but not good enough. But that's where you become, like the true, like Carlo Ancelotti, the true superstar, a truly legendary manager, and he's all in on it, and I love that. And I think what we've seen at the back end of this season, to me, says they've rebooted that during the campaign. I don't think anyone realises how hard that is to do. It's so difficult. It's difficult to. We do it in production. We try to change your content in the middle of the season. It's stressful enough trying to find the time to do all these other things when the footy's going and constant, and there's expectations and you've got boxes to tick and other responsibilities. They've managed to get us back to above a 2 point a game average, which is what you need to be a top side, whilst the season's been
it's funny because I saw Jordan Henderson mention, someone mentioned you got to rebuild. I was like, well, we haven't got to rebuild. He's actually done most of the rebuilding. He's got to sign a midfield, but he's rebuilt the forward line. That's done. They're all there. There's 5. He's got them all. He's got his defence. He's got his right. He's changed his formation. He's happy with that. So I don't know if Jordan took offence to the question. Like, well, we just need to sign a few players because the rebuild's happened. Bobby's gone, but that's what Cody Gakpo's for, and Mane's gone, but that was what Luis Diaz was for, and that's what Darwin Núñez was for, and it was only what happened was the midfield just didn't have it, but they might have stumbled upon something with Bacchetti and Jones half by accident because out of necessity, necessity breeds innovation and all that. But that's the thing. I don't think Liverpool. I still think we're the second best team if we get 2 boss midfielders. The jump will then be, can you become the best team? That's hard. That's really difficult, but I don't think we're miles away from. I think we're going to probably finish 3 points behind Man United, and we've been fucking crap, and they've had their best season for years.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And Newcastle have been, and again, I understand what Chloe said. They're going to spend, of course they are, but so I would like to think so. So I think I'm pretty confident if he gets 2 starting midfielders of a quality, Alexis McAllister and another. I'm not worried about like the top 4 race next season. I'm not. But it's then how do you catch City? Because they are.
And is that even the goal for next season? Is the thing, and it should be. But that's a huge.
It's like enter the end boss of that, isn't it? I don't think it's that difficult. I might be wrong. I know this might get caught up in a year's time and go look at this fucking idiot. But I don't think it's that hard to catch City and United and Newcastle. I don't think we're that far away from Arsenal, if truth be told. But City is like that's a high level.
I'm actually excited just because this is the first season in quite a while where we're signing people. Like, I'm excited for that. Like,
you hope.
Well, if they don't, then
I said this last summer.
There's going to be actually fume. But like, past seasons, like the Thiago and Jota, they came out of nowhere a little bit. Then, where this
it was
time,
technically like in the season, wasn't it? It was like fucking September.
It's like a few games in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But you now know we need a massive summer, so I'm actually excited because I don't know, like obviously McAllister, but I don't know what else we're identifying out there, and I'm excited to see what we are.
From a footy team point of view, I completely agree, and Alex, you might agree with this. From content creation wise, if they could evenly spread them till about July,
signing every 2 weeks during the daytimes, where announcements would be absolutely perfect.
Hours.
Yeah.
If you can as well. 5 till 7.
5 till 7 on a Sunday, please, Jurgen. But like, yeah, you don't want to go too early on all of them, and then we're just scrambling around at the end.
Scott Talks with the $25 super chat. Thank you, mate. This is Gakpo, Darwin, Diaz, Bacetic, plus signings with a full pre-season with Jurgen. Cannot wait to see what they become. And he also says, brackets, delighted to see Lizzy on the pod too, by the way. Big fan of her work.
Thank you very much.
Man.
There you go. Quality, if you've got any thoughts on anything we've discussed, please do use the comment section underneath. We're going to take a short break. When we return, we're going to be rating your wild football takes. Can you describe Bobby Firmino in one word?
Legend. It's pretty standard though, isn't it? It's not great, but he is, isn't he?
Hey, welcome. It is Thursday Night Pint. We're going to be rating your takes. Yes, I asked for your die on the hill opinions and conspiracy theories from this season. And with the help of the Rate My Take thumbs and my assembled guests, we're going to be rating your football takes. Right. Without further ado, then, we shall dive in. Take number one comes from our very own, formerly our very own, Ben Kelly, who says, Leicester going down is greater than Everton going down.
Absolutely pissed, Ben. Get away.
As in, Ben. Absolutely the worst
I want them
take.
both to go down because I saw you outside Leicester the other day when we beat them. Like, you know, some of the shouts they were coming out with. One kid, right, he must have been 9. He was in his Stony, obviously. And he kind of clocked me and he was giving it all this and all that. And he goes... So he's seen me on YouTube or whatever that is.
VAR.
That's like the universal... Well, now it's VAR, but he was giving it all that and then Trent scored and I was going... Isn't it your bedtime? As he was getting off, like, and some of the, like, on a serious note, some of them songs were horrendous, like, and then it was 2 Scousers that send them down. So in that moment, get Leicester down, but let's get them both down. Keep Leeds up. You know what I mean?
I'm fine with that.
I dislike all of them teams. I'm the only person who immediate reaction. It's the Leicester thing. I don't have any. I'm happy for Leicester to get relegated. By the way,
Easy, yeah.
I am going to state the case for Everton Football Club here.
No,
and I apologise wholeheartedly to everyone in the room.
Why though?
Because fuck the city of Leicester and fuck the city of Leeds and fuck the city of Nottingham and fuck the city of London and everywhere in between. Like, I just would rather this city have...
Everton must still exist.
Nah, man.
Yeah, I know, but like...
They'll have more games.
Everton sings some mad songs as well. Like,
Yeah.
they're no angels.
They'll have more games to play.
Listen, all for collective fan base
take them down.
at all buttes, but
I mean, the only thing I would miss would be Derby days.
But would you?
I
would you really?
I'd absolutely love it.
I hate Derby Day.
I don't like them.
I hate Derby Day until we win.
Liverpool have won, yeah.
But we win every time.
No, we do.
that's
That's why it's
Not
good for
there,
us.
though.
We never win a good... This pisses me off as well. I'm on this... Put this as a take. Like,
Write this one down.
The reason having Everton in the league is because they like... It's a bigger game for us. Man City just beat Everton. And like, everyone just beats Everton because they're crap. But then we played them and it's this big, Everton, dogs of war, let's kill people. And it's worse for us. It's worse for us having them. It is funny when we... And listen, I've had the best night of my life at Goodison Park when we beat them. But... Yeah, get them gone. I'm with you. If I could choose, I'd choose both. But if I said to you now, sorry, if you said to me, pick one of these two to definitely go down, mate, I'm sending Everton.
Yeah, me too.
And then I'm laughing so hard. And
I genuinely, the only thing I am looking forward
to, but I'm sending Everton
for a year or two. Like, come on.
The only thing I'm really looking forward to this weekend is the coach Haim if Everton do go down from Southampton. I don't think you understand. I will walk in this room ready to go on a show and I wouldn't have been asleep yet because it's time. If they go down, as soon as I get back to Liverpool,
it's quite
it's
sad
time.
in a way though because this time last year, we were genuinely talking about quads. Now it's like, we'll be happy on a coach if Everton go down.
Well, but
You've got to take your wins where you can, Alex, is what I'll say.
I am
That's
very
really positive.
I am very, very
Aren't we sounding
comfortable.
like Everton fans when we say that, though?
I am
Yeah,
very
but
comfortable, very, very comfortable in the fact that I can take pleasure in the misery of others.
We've got...
It's a quality of mine, I
Listen,
think.
it's a mark of how
enjoy it.
crap we've been this season, that we adore a footballer just for being a bit wild up front, but not scoring loads of goals, and we want our nearest rivals to just be shit to make us happy. You know what I mean? That's. But listen, we've been shit. You've got to take your enjoyment from football where you can get it from.
Everton have done some wonders for me this season when I've been at an all-time low with Liverpool.
That is true, that, like.
But they did beat Brighton
That is true.
5-1 away, unfortunately, which has probably kept them up.
Do you have unbearable Evertonians in your life?
Yeah, my neighbours.
One's just walked out, hasn't he?
And is that part of it?
Yeah, that's why I love derby days, though, because we always end up winning, and then they have to, like, are you all right after it? And I'm like,
No.
I'm Sam, mate. You?
The Champions League final, our neighbours put Spurs flags all outside their
See,
house.
that's
They wore Madrid
Everton
hats.
bitterness. Like, my cameraman for the Co-op TV, he's an Evertonian, but he's the best type of Evertonian, and that is a pessimistic Evertonian. He knows their shit, and sometimes, let's say we've beaten Everton outside the ground after we're doing the fan cams, lads will come up to him, assuming he's a Liverpool fan, and be like, "What a goal from Salah, lads!" And he's like, "Yeah, it was a belter, lads. Yeah." So, but he's the best type of Evertonian because he says their shit, knows their shit, and doesn't even go.
Okay, listen.
Doesn't even go.
No, it doesn't go to the game.
I'm not tearing the tide on 4 people wanting Everton to go down. I don't care enough to really
I do.
fight that case.
Concede.
As long as I do want to see, I've got Everton friends. I don't mind them having a bit of happiness in their lives.
No.
Let them get them in the Championship and let them win
They'll
some
win the
football.
Imagine how bad it'll be when they don't win games in the Championship.
So good.
Right, okay, cool. I think we've unequivocally solved that one. Mark Abrams at Robin Markles on Twitter says everything went downhill after Divock left. Lord
not a
Divock
bad
Origi
shout.
leaving is the reason why Liverpool have had a bad season.
I mean, technically he's right. Things have been crap. But are we saying it was because Divock left? Or
100%, yeah.
Oh, then no.
Are we not entertaining the idea that
I kind of am. Yeah.
Go for it.
I agree with him.
Yeah, I'm like there, halfway, half mast.
Who's Divocked things this season? No one?
I'd say the same if Milan actually were doing all right, but they're not. That's where Divock is.
I would have loved him to have scored in that Champions League final. if
He
they
was
got
always there for our little last minute things, wasn't he? Yeah, he was our little lucky charm.
there.
when
But
he played.
like the great Nelly Furtado once said, all
Oh.
good things come to an end.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was his time.
Unfortunately.
She also
That
said,
famous Nelly
I've always Nelly Furtado song.
oh, good.
I thought you were going to say...
I'm like a bird.
I was going to say, how does that fit into Divock
That was
Origi?
her other hit.
I want to fly away. Okay,
He's a
Divock.
man-eater. I don't know.
He's a goal eater.
Okay, so
True.
what do we think? Divock, everything went
No.
down. Everything went downhill when Divock left.
We're not as happy as we were when he was around.
I agree.
He was life.
I do miss him.
He was iconic.
I do
But
miss him.
Yeah.
Divock
he's
is
not the
life.
sole purpose of Liverpool's downfall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll come
There's probably some other factors, to be fair.
Yeah.
Right. Ryan on Insta says, Arsenal have had a great season, but we are more prepared for next than they are. What do you think?
I wanna go like that, mate.
Yeah, Murphy, but
I think Arsenal are in for a fucking world of pain next season.
yeah.
I think they're going to spend loads of money, though.
I don't see how they
World
can
of
do
pain.
that.
That's quite extreme.
Yeah.
Explain.
Do you mean hit with reality in terms of...
Because they have profited on a crap Liverpool and a crap Chelsea, and someone had to. You know, that's not on them. That's on
That should have been
Liverpool
us.
and Chelsea.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how far behind City they'll end up, but it won't be far off. There's a chance it could be like around the 8 or 9
9 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they've got a really good team, they've got a really good manager, but actually that step from second to first is loads bigger than they think, and they don't think it's that big because they were literally in first for all the season. And I wonder whether there's a little whether they'll have a full grasp, particularly the fans, on what you're asking, because City had a crap season by their own standards. Bear in mind they're about to win the treble, and they started the season really slow by their own standard, lost more games than they'd done in seasons where they competed against us. So they've not really. I think if they just start next season like they've ended this, City, they're back to being a 100-point team that can win everything, and Arsenal won't be.
They've got to figure out the Champions League thing.
Yes, that as well.
Yeah.
I think they are going to spend money though. I think that's the one thing
They can spend all the money they want.
I think it's more likely Arsenal will finish 5th next season than win the league. I think that's. I do.
Because they're going to be the 14-15 version of Arsenal.
No, because I think I still think they're going to be good, but I think we'll be better. I think Man United will be better. I think Man United will be better. I don't know. I couldn't say that about Newcastle. But again, they're going to. Man United are probably going to go and buy Mason Mount and Harry Kane.
Yeah.
That'll make them better. We're hopefully going to make the signing. So I don't think we're more prepared, because I think they've got their team. They're happy with their 11.
They need to add 2 or 3 more.
Yeah, they need to add bits, but I don't think they're doing it from a place of strength. We're doing it and we're a bit desperate. You know what I mean? That's the difference. But I wouldn't say we're more prepared, but I would be comfortable in saying I think we'll finish above them next year. But right this second, I think they could roll into next season with that team and be all right. I think we'd be like, if we had to do that, because we just lost 4 players. They haven't lost anyone. Yeah. You know what I mean?
If they get Rice and a decent 20 goals a year, I don't see how they can get any worse, and their standard, if we're honest, has been very high.
It's the Champions League thing. I think
that's the thing.
They're going to have to get
question mark.
The Europa League. They just jibbed it off.
And by that preparation for next season, you're right, is that if they've played Europa League, they played a bunch of kids in the first half, which is good for the progression. But all of a sudden, Liverpool are going into a season as a team that's used to playing Champions League football and getting to Champions League finals, playing in a lower standard European competition during the week, and actually being able to then put your best team out on the pitch for the Premier League all of a sudden. Whereas they're going to have that balance of, let's face it, up until Christmas, you play twice a week in those games. If we've had plenty of times where we've played a big Champions League game and then had Man City at the weekend, and you're like, fuck, what do you do? How do you balance that?
Newcastle going to have to figure this out as well. Yeah.
I agree.
Also, just on Arsenal, they've got a decent starting 11, and then I feel like they fall off. If Martinelli or Saka get a bad injury at any point, they're in the mud a bit up top. I mean, Nketiah stepped up for them, but it was very much Saka and Martinelli was their main two. They've got no squad depth in terms of replacements for them to rotate it. Liverpool have got 5 forwards.
Well, they lost one defender.
Yeah.
What was Man City's excuse every time we did better than them, wasn't it? It's all Laporte's fault. Okay, so let's rate. Arsenal had a great season, but we are more prepared for next than they are.
I'm very much like that.
I'll go up, yeah.
I don't think so.
Oh, fuck you, Steve.
Okay.
Line up. Bick80 says, there was no curse on the white away top. I'm not in on. I am whatever this is. Yes. I'm not in on this cursed football kit.
When we say curse, are we talking like dark magic that happens, or are we just saying we were shit whenever we played in it?
Basically that.
Or a mix of it.
Yeah.
There's always we won 1 game in it, right?
Yeah.
Can someone tell me what that game was?
It was recently.
It was what it was.
I was.
Oh,
you were almost certainly at it.
Yeah, you would have definitely done there.
The point is that in fact,
recent.
Was it not? I thought the last time we played them, right, was a 0-0 boring game against Crystal Palace.
No, it was quite a resounding
That was
win.
we did 0-0 it at Palace. We did.
It's more recent than that. The point is that whenever Liverpool are crap, it's always the kit's fault. So like that green kit, green was an unlucky colour in the 90s, because we had that kit in 1992, and you know what happened in 1992? Graham Souness was our manager, and we were fucking rubbish. We won the FA Cup. We won the FA Cup in the end, but we were rubbish, and everyone said it was green kits, which was
actually a belter. This for me is going to be looked back on in years to come as what a great shirt that was in terms of.
And we've worn it like twice.
Well, we beat Ajax away 3-0 in it. I was at that game. That was the first time I'd seen us winning that shirt.
We might wear that the weekend, mightn't we? But yeah.
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
I don't think, I'm not sure the shirt was cursed. I think we were just crap away. But what I would say is it's a bad shirt.
It was a bad shirt.
It looked like a back of a CD.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
And that can't be good.
I don't think the shirt was cursed. I'm in on that.
I think it was just a coincidence. But
I
we
don't
did play
care, but
shit
it was
every time we
shite.
were.
Not the shirts, but the players that were wearing it. Yeah. Right, here's a good one for you. Chris Allen, at Chris Allen lad. We deliberately aimed for 5th to have another crack at the UEFA Cup and complete the full set under Jurgen.
We did
Lizzy.
not do that. We did not
Oh,
do that.
yeah, with that. Nah, joke.
Fuck it, why not? If you're gonna complete immortality, we can't clearly win multiples of one trophy. We've tried that and it's not worked.
Yeah, one of
So
each will do
let's
us.
just win everything. And then the year after, let's go and do that Conference League for a laugh, and
Just
then he
for
can,
shits
and then he
and
can,
giggles.
and then he can bow us, and that's it. That's all we got left. See if they'll reboot the Winners' Cup for us and get a little sting
Yeah,
of
it's a
that.
spot,
Toto.
yeah. Never know.
Into
The
Toto.
Anglo-Italian Cup.
This new
love
Club
that.
World Cup tournament of the world comes in soon, doesn't it? Let's go and win that as
How
well.
many names can surely the names are starting to run a little bit thin for these like World Club Champion Cup.
Yeah.
Where else do you go? Like the word Champion Cup, World.
Yeah.
How many? Genuinely, how many?
To be fair, it's
names
like
are
wrestling
left?
companies.
It is, yeah. It's exactly the same.
International World
Exactly the
Federation.
same.
Isn't it? Just some combination of those three. Put it together.
Just literally put them in a hat and pick them up. wouldn't it? Federation will be the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, sound. So, listen. As far as conspiracy theory goes, it's bullshit. But I'm all in on the idea of just like about a month ago when we realised it wasn't possible anymore. They just went, "Fuck it, let's just go in there."
There's a piece of merch, isn't there, that we can have where it's like every cup. It's written. It's writing itself.
Global Federation Trophy.
with a shamrock on it
Yeah.
and a pint of Guinness on it. Oh,
Yeah, man.
get us to Dublin.
Surab R. Patil says we are still in for Jude.
No.
And the talks are ongoing
Stop,
between
please.
concerned parties secretly. I'm sorry.
Please,
No, I don't want to get in.
I reckon there's a 1.8% that we get Jude.
1.8.
It's not even that high.
1.8% chance that we get Jude.
Have you come to that 1.8?
Because there's still a little bit of hope until he actually signs on the
But
dotted
like not
line.
enough for 2%, but
No.
too much for 1%.
Oh, that's a big jump. That's a big jump. That 0.2 is all important.
Yeah, I'd love that to be the case.
We can't even afford fucking Mason Mount.
By the way, is anyone like actually upset that we're not getting him? Because I've
Yeah.
never seen the big.
Yeah.
Chloe
You
is
were why?
absolutely devastated.
He's not even that good.
Chloe just like signings. She's just that's
Yeah,
what it is.
but raise your standards.
I think him under Jurgen Klopp, though, I think he would be class.
I hear that, but I think there's better guys out there to do that with.
I'm more annoyed that we've just lost a player to Man City,
Name
to Man
me one.
United.
Yeah.
Name me a player
Just
off the
give
top
me a
of
bit
your
of
head.
time and I'll come back with a few. But
I don't care if they lost Mason Mount. I think he'd have been good, but whatever. It's more now. Fuck, players are picking Man United again. That's what's done my head in about this kind of thing. That's been a
don't
while.
think it's that deep, though.
Gakpo, Gakpo chose us and Nunes chose us.
I'll be a load calmer about Jude Bellingham if he stays at Dortmund for another year.
yeah, exactly.
He's
that.
about to win the league with them and then fuck off.
Yeah.
He's already done the whole "I'm staying" when he scored the other week.
That's not
So
happening.
Yeah, that means they're staying,
Enzo
guys.
Fernandez.
yeah, it's when they touch their shirt and give it all that, and then 2 weeks later.
Quite like this shirt.
Yeah.
I'll probably buy one and keep it on my wall when I leave for another club.
Because I'm not even saying I'm going to stay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not being subbed off.
I like this shirt.
Yeah.
I like this grass.
Yeah. Right, final take of the week and of the season. GTTO 2024 says Arthur Mello doesn't actually exist and we've all collectively imagined
It's a
him.
figment of our
I've seen him.
imagination.
Honestly,
That's the problem.
I've got
Seen
no
him in
idea.
Pop World.
I've heard of this lad. And I mentioned at the top of the show, 6th most expensive midfielder of all time when he joined Juventus. 6th most expensive midfielder.
Do you know what? I
of
hate
all
to sound
time.
like a knobhead, but I played at Anfield a couple of weeks ago for 75 minutes.
Oh my
I've
God.
played 75 minutes at Anfield more than he has for Liverpool.
Yeah.
I sound like a knobhead, but it's facts.
Yeah.
Both of those things are true. You did.
Come on, myself.
Wait a phone. Mate, what a waste of time that fella was. Bless him. The only good thing about it was that we got to make a sticker for our wall of half the cartoon.
Yeah.
And that got us a cheap laugh for like a minute on the internet.
Yeah.
And I'm all for the cheap laughs. In fact, that's what I live for. But other than that, mate,
You
yeah.
know, he's only
Actually-
played about 90 league games in his career. 90. He's 27.
I saw him kick a ball about the other day and looked at him and was like, He actually doesn't look that bad.
Is that one of the coaches?
Someone won a competition. Or?
I'm really annoyed.
One of the half-time stick penalties.
I'm annoyed that he's been crap because I love Brazilians with old man English names.
Oh yeah.
It's a
Fred.
Fred. I love that. And I miss all them. And we need a new
Terry.
one.
Joe.
Yeah, Joe. Can we go get like a Barry? There was like a Barry knocking around Sao Paulo.
Barry Di Nascimento Santos. Yeah.
I love it. And I miss them. And I'm really annoyed that he was crap. Kev.
Kevinho.
Absolutely outstanding. Okay, cool. We had a super chat while we were doing this, and I'm going to have to ask people for help on this because either I've missed the point, but Edward Joseph 1888 says, and 7-0 Stevie, thumbs up. I don't understand.
Sorry, what?
It says, and 7-0 Stevie, thumbs up and some pints. I mean,
Thursday Night Pint. This is the kind of vibe.
Did I mention Man United at some point?
maybe.
Do you know they've mentioned it way more than we have? Has anyone else thought of
I've
that?
forgot about it.
Oh,
Like Flex the other day. Oh, Liverpool singing this song. Bobby Firmino. Liverpool are not getting top 4. You've got your 7-Up trophy. Why do you keep mentioning it?
Yeah, because they were so wounded
They
by
are
it.
wounded, man.
They did making like parade photos and all that kind of stuff. But the funniest one was someone made the parade photo. It was like, it was 7-0, 7-up, blah, blah, blah. But they used our Champions League parade from 2019 as the picture. It's like, lads, that's not the one you want to use there. Like, you know what I mean? You know, we were all there when we won the European Cup.
750,000
She wasn't that fit anyway, lads. I don't know. Didn't even like it anyway. He was whatever. She took me on water. That's fine. My mate's fitted anyway.
Proud. Wicked, cool. That is Rate My Take for the final time. If you've got any thoughts and opinions on the takes, do you think we've got them right or wrong? Let us know in the comments section. Right, one final break. When we return, we're going to be looking ahead to the final game of the season, Southampton versus Liverpool.
Bobby Firmino in one word.
I'd say happy. I honestly, like you say that and I smile. You talk about Bobby from a football sense, from a people sense, like a person sense, from a visual sense. You know, you look at him and you just see his teeth glistening. He's just always happy, and he puts a smile on people's face.
People have done horrible things with my face.
From the gallery.
Oh my God!
Oh God!
Actually, no, that's not.
Is that why you got a new car?
That's exactly why I got a new car, to get the smell of out of my nostrils.
I wasn't ready for you to look at me for approval. You know what I mean?
You've had a nightmare.
As long as you went hard.
Just 4 men going, wish we had tits.
Hey, yes, welcome back to Thursday Night Pint. You'll have seen our promos ahead of this section. Bobby Firmino, the best in the world, documentary series coming out this June. Make sure you head to redmenplus.com and get involved. If you sign up now, you'll also get Redmen Uncensored, which has been an amazing companion series to Pint since we started doing this with all of our guests sitting down, having a freestyle life chat. We're going to be doing that again this week, of course. And if you head over to redmenplus.com, sign up as a club captain yearly, use the code YEAR, Y-E-A-R, and you get a 50% off. So you get £25. All you'll have to spend, and you'll get Redmen Plus for an entire year for that.
It's not bad, that.
All of that.
It's not bad, that.
Bargain. Absolute stone cold bargain. Right. It is the match preview. It is me, Paul Machin. It is Ste Chloe. It is Chloe Bloxham. It is Gildea Trott. And it is Lizzy Evo. Final league game of the season, Lizzy. And there's just a point where I don't know. We need to win. We need to end on a high just so we all get to bounce into the summer no matter what happens. We can make our peace with how the season's ended, whatever's gone before it, draw a big line under it. That is literally, for me anyway, the one and only mission facing Liverpool and Southampton.
Yeah.
Just win a game of football.
Yeah, like I don't want them to go into the game being lazy because they know everything's done. Like, I'd rather them finish on a high so that we all, although we've had a shit season, we want to finish a little bit happy. Like, 90 minutes is them 90 minutes Liverpool players, like I forget about all my life problems and shit like that, so do us a favour and help me out, please. Like, not just me, but everyone. I feel like to end the season like that would be nice.
It's true though, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't want them to be lazy with the thinking going into it.
Oh, I'm the opposite, me.
What?
I played under 21s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no fuck.
Well, United are winning, so we might as well.
Yeah, I mean, I just
Well, I'm going, so if he could
honestly,
actually put out a decent
I'd let
Yeah,
squad,
put a
that'd
decent
be
squad.
brilliant.
It's a
honestly,
long coach trip, that.
go and give them all a holiday, get on the beach, put your feet up. They're all playing internationals in about 2 weeks.
So you want to go to Southampton instead of me then?
I mean, you asked me, Paul asked my opinion. If I was going to Southampton, I might have a different answer. I'm sure you will. I might not even watch it. Everton might get relegated. Like,
Yeah,
I've got some priorities here. Listen, spoiler alert, I know people might be watching this after. As we're currently recording this, we know Man United are playing and they're winning. So it is a dead rubber because I doubt Chelsea are going to come back. I don't see why risk anyone getting injured. What's the point? Because Southampton, it's their last home game.
They're
down anyway.
Yeah.
And what they'll do. Remember when we beat Man United and they threw that kid on? Hannibal Lecter, and he started volleying, and he just started volleying people. That's what's going to happen. Southampton are going to play some young kid, and he's going to start booting shit out of us. And I'm like, be arsed. Like, I would go, honestly, get Kelleher in goal.
Okay.
Nat Phillips can have a send-off.
Yeah, man.
Joey Gomez.
Can we play Bobby?
Milner
then?
left back.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Simicast.
that's
Milner
sort of
left
me.
back.
That's sort of my next question.
Milner's me right back.
Does it, if it's a dead rubber, and it's I refuse to give up hope, and that one might sound foolish when everyone's watching this immediately after the game's finished and United have beaten Chelsea 5-0 because Chelsea are fucking rubbish. But I live in hope right now in the here and now of it all. Does it being a dead rubber, Chloe, change your opinion to what you would do? Because you've got Bobby Firmino who's leaving. You've obviously got Milner. I can't really see a world where Naby's going to miraculously return, and Ox at this point, what's the point?
Arthur.
No.
That's a shout, though.
Arthur centre mid.
That is actually a shout.
Why?
Because who cares?
Shits and giggles, isn't it?
I can't emphasise enough how badly I don't want Liverpool players to get injured. Again, scratch this now. If Man United somehow have lost, play the best team. but honestly, though, I don't see and I might be completely in the minority, and I understand it. I'm not going, and you are, so I get it. But like, they've played a lot of footy. We literally said, didn't we, at the start of this season, they look knackered. Why put 90 minutes in the legs of players for just no reason? I can't understand.
Because it matters.
It doesn't.
No, but it does. But for me, anyway, the fact is you've got to, because there's a psychological thing, and if you go out in the season with the draw and the defeat, then it actually looks like everything you've done to reboot the team and change the formation has done nothing to actually help.
You do realise we're playing Southampton?
Yeah.
The reserve should be able to beat Southampton.
No, I understand, but to your point, you're talking about, like, there's a team who've now got no pressure left. This is a team that drew with Arsenal a couple of weeks ago, effectively cost Arsenal the title by turning up in that game, by the way.
Chelsea away.
Yeah, I don't care.
In their ground where they've got all their fans on who themselves are looking for the fan, but they're doing the same thing. They're playing for the same thing.
The manager's getting off.
Whatever, doesn't matter. But the fact is, they're playing for the positive spirit of, they want to give their fans something to be happy about. They want to end the season on a high, and we want to do exactly the same thing. If Liverpool end the season on a draw and defeat, then all of we've rebuilt, we've turned the corner, all our positive messages going into the summer, not totally gone, but are very undermined because all of a sudden you've dropped points to Aston Villa and Southampton.
Not having it. If it's a rotated team. Remember when Klopp played against West Brom away and we had like fucking Canos played? No one who cares? It's the last game of the season. That meant nothing. I think. I don't know. I just disagree. I would really.
Do you? You could have made that point more vociferously. It feels like you could have been a bit hammered that point home a little bit. What do you think, Chloe?
I think.
As someone who's going the game, which is more important than Steve not watching it on the telly.
No, I want us to win, and I don't want us to do that. I want to say goodbye to the likes of Bobby Firmino, but I want those players that we've got behind this season when they've been shite to come over to our away end and show positivity and show the crowd who's been with them through thick and thin this season, we'll be back next year. And I want those players to get the send-off they deserve. And also, you may sit there and say they've been tired. They've been shite. You go out there and this is your job. What are you going on? This is your job. You go out there, you put in the work for the fans, if nothing else. Let us all leave on a high, or clap you off, or it's special for Bobby and it's special for Milner. There's going to be something there for Milner as well from the away end.
He's playing.
I want all those people to be there. who were the shell of that team that are no longer anymore, this rebuild. I want us to give you one last send-off. You take it all in, know that this atmosphere is going to be with you next year, and know that we're going to expect a lot more. Use it to get behind, enjoy your break, and then come back again. I don't want it to be a dead stale, because there's nothing to go off. You want to... Every time I enter a football stadium, I want to be excited about something, whether there's anything to play for or not. And that might be Darwin Núñez gets to run out, so I'm excited to see him again. Milner, Bobby, I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see Trent in midfield, whatever it may be. You can always take them off. You've got 5 subs. You don't need to put out a full-strength team, but you want them there on the day.
If we're trying to reboot something, Alex, and this is why I know I get Steve's point, but I don't agree with it, is if we're trying to reboot something, it's a game of football to practice something. You know what I mean? It's a competitive game of football where you get one more look at something or whatever. And this is why I actually don't think necessarily that Milner and Bobby and whoever maybe even get a look in there, because kind of what's the point?
Because then it won't be around next season.
Exactly, there's a fucking sentiment to it. Bring him on. Bring Bobby on and Milner on for his last 5 minutes or whatever. But for me, the best team that we can put out, there's experience to be gained from this. It's another team, another challenge. Might only be a fucking cup team that we play next season, but if there's an opportunity for them to get a little bit of a deeper understanding on what's being asked of them, what did you learn from Villa? Can you put that into action this week? I'd be fucking off lads who haven't got motivation, and you know, even like the internationals, if there's lads who, if it is a dead rubber and there's a bunch of lads going on internationals and they're more asked about that, don't play them. Play lads who actually want to go and beat Southampton, because Liverpool shouldn't be actively looking to not put the best team out in every game of football.
If Chelsea did beat United, then I'd be saying put the strongest 11 out, because then it becomes, well, it's the radio on the last day situation. Can we score? Are we looking for Fulham to score at Old Trafford? So, but it is going to be a dead rubber, unfortunately. So do you put out Ben Doak? Do you put out these? I would play Arthur Melo. I know your point is also valid, because it's like going into next season, let's end this the way we want to start next season, but we've got all of pre-season to sort that out. You know, I'm quite keen to just give this is like a sentimental day for me. The Ox is playing against his old club, get him a start. Milner, Ben Doak, I mean, who else is there really that you could play? I mean, just get them all on. Why not?
We moan that there's too much footy, and then to play.
We haven't played for a week. It's the last game.
No, I
footy for like 3 months.
Mate, I hark back to when Jota got his leg snapped in that stupid Champions League game when we thought they won the group, and we missed him for like 6 months.
Yeah, but he was the understudy. We did rotate.
No, I get it.
Everyone goes, just by the way, we should have rotated more. Jota was literally the player that because we rested him.
No, and I get it, but like that could happen again. That could have been more. I get it, because it could happen, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I understand. I'm in a minority here.
Yeah.
I'm not, CBA travelling all the way down to Southampton to see him play in under-21 squad. No.
Hey, I went all the way to Villa Park to watch a bunch of children play
So
for
did
Liverpool.
That was different.
I'll play that team.
Yeah, well, half of them playing like the championship.
I don't want to say imagine if they have go down, but that away end would be absolutely ludicrous.
It'd be like that anyway. We could lose 7 and party time.
Let's have a good. Well, listen, we'll have a good old chat about the Ev in a bit, but I want to get your teams. So go on, Lizzie. What's your team? What team are you picking for this one?
Fucking hell. It's an odd one, that. I think I want to start. Yeah, I was going to say I'm going to start Curtis, just because of how we played the last game as well. And I feel like he's got a point to prove. Of course, I'm going to go with me Salah. Obviously. Salah. It's a tough one, because obviously now you've got me thinking. Would you put the full strongest out, or would you half and half it? Do you know what I mean? Like,
you be you, Lizzie. I don't think anyone's ever told you to be anything else. Other than that, don't listen to him. He's fucking... Don't listen to him. You're sitting down on Sunday to watch Liverpool, to get that escapism you're looking for from your life. Who are the lads you want to watch on the pitch?
I'm wanting to watch Trent, of course, but I'm wanting to watch him in a midfield position, because... It's exciting, like you just said. It's really exciting. It's different as well. I'm wanting to watch Van Dijk. Of course, I am. Anyone is. Robbo, Konate. I actually like Konate. I'm not gonna lie. People write him off a little bit, but I like him. Curtis. I want to watch Curtis. Harvey. I want to see Harvey Elliott play, because I think I haven't got to see much of him play well. Salah.
Cody.
Cody Gakpo. I was going to wait till last to say Cody, but yeah.
Diaz or Jota?
Diaz.
Okay.
Diaz
Are you
is
playing
one of my
Fab?
favourites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyone else? Steve, go on. Give us the Steve
Here we
who
go.
doesn't give a shit 11
See, I
for
might
Southampton
be
versus
closer to
Liverpool.
this 11 than that one.
Caveated with if the game means nothing, just to clarify.
Yeah.
Kelleher, Simicast, Phillips, Gomez,
Yeah, no, this is me as well.
Milner, Fabinho can play. Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones can play. Firmino up front.
Ben Doak?
No, Carvalho on the left.
Who's on your right?
That's rogue.
Salah?
Salah plays every game.
Yeah, I wouldn't, but no, honestly, no. If it's me, I'd see if Oxlade-Chamberlain fancies a game.
Oh.
If he doesn't, yeah, Firmino. Is Ben Doak fit? Is he back playing?
I think so.
Yeah, get him in. That's fine.
Artemello, no?
Oh, fuck yeah. Get Fabinho out. Fabinho out.
Mo Salah needs one more to get to
That's
20
true.
goals, so there's no way he doesn't play this game.
No.
Yeah, of course
I
he'll
wouldn't play him, but he's going to pick himself. He just walk on. What
Yeah,
am I
of
going to do? What am I going to do? No, fuck off.
No question.
Yeah. But no, get half a mellow in for Fabinho, actually.
For 4 minutes.
Come on, Clown.
I'd like Ali to finish this. He's been our player of the season, so I'd love him to. However, if we say to Gallagher, you'll be playing the Europa League next season, and I'll put you in today, and if you stay, then yeah, I'd do that. If that was the clause to keep Gallagher, but I'd like to see Ali because he's been the standout. I wouldn't mind putting Costas in. I wouldn't mind that. I can understand. My two centre halves are obviously going to be Verge and Canate. I do want to put Trent in there. My midfield would be Curtis Jones. Fabinho's had enough time off this season, so he can go back in.
Fabinho's had enough time off this season.
Yeah.
He's played more minutes than any other Liverpool midfielder.
And he's still being shite.
There might be a correlation, Chloe. He's fucking knackered. He's absolutely shit.
Once more into the breach, Fabinho.
That fella's waking up going, honestly, really, like, I am... He might be injured. If I'm in, I'm injured.
Who are you putting there?
Who cares? Who gives a fuck? Like, he's not. I think he's.
Artemello, mate, I'm telling you.
I don't want Artemello in this team.
Yeah.
My right side of midfield is Harvey Elliott. Might as well. You're against bottom of the table. Go for it. I'd then go up. I wouldn't start Bobby because I don't know where he is in terms of injury. I'd bring them on at some point. I'd bring Milner on at some point. I'd play Salah because he'd want to play. I would give Cody Gakpo a rest. I'd like to see him, maybe from off the bench, but he has played a lot. He's been consistent.
Poor Fabinho.
So I'd play Jota and then I'd play Diaz.
Have we done yours, Alex? You happy with what's been thrown out?
Yeah, I'll have a mishmash between everyone's, really. I think, for me, Artemello starts there.
Why though?
Just for...
Banter,
why not?
Just vibes, innit?
I'm not doing it. This isn't me trying to ruin your trip to Southampton, by the way.
He might score.
No, but like, why?
I'd
just rather never see him ever again.
All
like,
I've done
just
is
leave it like that.
I've replaced one Brazilian international with another.
Who's played for Barcelona and Juventus, by the way, Chloe.
6th most expensive midfielder in the history of
Played
football.
90 games in his career.
He's played the last 7 minutes for Liverpool, and that is about
13,
enough.
actually.
The only thing I would consider doing if you're doing a wild shout on stuff is whether you start Darwin. Maybe put
Darwin
Gakpo
starts
into
for me.
if he's fit, by the way.
Depends on the toe, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Why would you risk anyone who's got an injury carrying?
Yeah, I wouldn't
Well, if this is what I'm saying. Now, if he's fit and available, and it is a dead rubber, you might as well try. You stick within broadly what you're doing, but try something different with it.
A little bit.
Yeah, but moreover, put Gakpo into midfield or put Elliott into the midfield, and let just see if everyone can get Darwin a goal. Try and get Darwin a goal before the season ends and see if it makes him feel a little bit better. So again, he ends the season on a high.
I don't want to make anyone sad, but Man United have had one shot on target and scored, and I've had 38% possession at home against Frank Lampard's Chelsea.
Yeah, I know. So people, you should shake your fist at the screen and shout FIFA at it when you get things like that happen, or footy man. Okay, let's have some score predictions and then we'll have a look at the fixtures. Steve, what do you think it's going to be?
Okay. 4-1.
To Liverpool. Wait, there's a Southampton.
Yeah, to Liverpool, yeah.
He had to think about it.
I did.
I'm going to say 2-0 Liverpool.
Yeah.
Alex?
5-3 Liverpool.
Jeez, no, I can't
2-0.
deal with that.
I half want the players at the VAR monitor watching Everton.
No, that's what I want. That our main group of players to be coming over to an away end that's completely and utterly bouncing. That is what I want.
Yeah.
I want
In an ideal world.
5-0. Everyone gets a big positive vibe, sends off. A couple for Darwin. Yeah, that too. Right, just for the sake of it, you're just looking at the weekend's fixtures. Leeds have got Spurs at home. Bournemouth go to Everton. And Leicester have got West Ham at home. So all three of the relegation teams, all playing home games. Everton on paper have got the plummest of the picks there. But wouldn't it just be the most
O'Neill,
thing?
go and make sure that that's your job next season, please. Just do it for everyone.
Tom
on the Red
Solanke,
Devils.
make yourself a hero.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think Leeds will beat Spurs.
Do you?
I agree,
Yes.
yeah.
How many points? Are Leeds only 2 points behind the
If
other?
So
Ever-
Leeds and Leicester are on 31
31.
points right now. Leeds' goal difference is an absolute joke. It's minus 27. Everton are on 33. So basically, a draw for Everton.
Sends Leeds pretty much.
Yeah, they
But if Leicester win, then it sends the Ev down.
Yeah, so
If Leicester and Leeds win, Everton...
No,
Everton have to win.
Leeds have a
They have
worse
to win,
goal
yeah.
difference than Everton.
yeah, Leicester have got a much better goal difference. Oh wow, this is tasty, isn't it? So yeah, Everton have got minus 24 goal difference. Leicester's minus 18. Leeds is minus 27. So Leicester's goal difference could send Everton down if Everton only draw and Leicester win.
yeah.
You know what? I'm in the same boat as Ste. Fuck Liverpool. I just someone get me a phone in the away end, please, with Everton on.
So if Everton win, they're up. If they don't win, they could be in
What about
the
if they
bang in
draw?
trouble. Then Leicester can overtake them if they win.
But the thing that's worth remembering is that all of these teams are rubbish.
It
so
is, yeah.
strap yourselves in for either all three lose.
West Ham, mate. West Ham, they're going to pick the team I've just picked
Please.
because they've got a European final. I think Tottenham are gone. They honestly, I watched them the other day.
But they might do something for Harry Kane, you know, just because
Yeah, but he'll score because he always scores.
Yeah,
but
Everton might be without Dominic Calvert-Lewin, not that that's, you know, going to change
they
much.
with him?
But
yeah, that's what I say, as opposed to when.
no, but that Brighton game, he was big. He was really influential in that game. He missed
this
sitters, like, but
unbiased footy show of the week is that they Bamford and Dominic Calvert-Lewin going off injured at half time in those games. That's like their last great hope. Have they got a guy who might score a goal and save them?
I think Everton fans.
Jamie Vardy scoring the goal that keeps Leicester up would be very last hurrah for Jamie Vardy, wouldn't it? To be honest.
I think Leicester are going to beat West Ham, and I think Leeds are going to beat Spurs.
don't get me excited.
No,
Stay,
but
stop it
I'll be
now.
honest. I half expect Everton to beat Bournemouth, but
I think that's a no.
Horrendous record recently against Bournemouth, don't they, Everton?
yeah.
7-0 on aggregate already this season.
Up the cherries,
Crazy,
man.
that.
Gary O'Neill, what a job, by the way.
No, I know.
Ex-Liverpool
But
coach.
to solidify it, I feel like he's got to
Could we not
beat
loan
Everton.
Bournemouth like Salah? Shouldn't that be allowed?
Emergency loan.
Last game of the season, like just rock them all up. Like I don't know, can someone do that?
There is something to Dom Solanke rocking up, isn't there?
Please, lad.
That's the story that could be written.
I always like
Harvey-
to see a little
wait,
Liverpool
no,
moment
no,
in
no,
there.
Harvey-
Wouldn't it?
Imagine.
That'd be class.
What
Jack
about-
Harrison
Hero.
fits. He's an ex-Liverpool player as well.
Jack
Leeds.
Harrison?
Yeah.
Is
I'd
it?
love to see
I
this.
thought he was at City.
Yeah, he was a Liverpool kid.
Oh, yeah.
I was really hoping if United, you know, lost, that Wilson would show up for Fulham. And
Hey, listen, Mitrovic.
I think
Still time. Have faith, everyone. Sorry for those of you
Who's gonna
in the
relegate to
future. I think Leeds and
Leeds
Leicester
and
are going to get
Leicester,
relegated. I do.
it's 100% happening.
But only because of that Brighton away win. If they didn't win that game, we wouldn't be
No,
saying that. I
the
don't
real
think.
reason is because Patrick Bamford missed a sitter in the last minute against Everton
Yeah. And
at Leeds.
the other real reason is that Leicester had Everton at home.
Yeah.
And
it
we
was
could have gone
2-2.
3-1 up with a penalty.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
fucked it. Who do you think will go down? Do you care passionately that Everton get relegated to the Championship? Will you laugh your collective bollocks off if that does happen? Let us know in the comments. I'm interested in watching from from people who don't really have experience of Evertonians. What do you make of the whole thing? The people who've never set foot in Liverpool barely even know what Everton is as a concept. Do they give a shit about Everton and get relegated on them?
Until I moved to Liverpool, I was like that. And then I moved and I was like, no, I really want them to go now. Before I was like, they're irrelevant, little brother. Back off. You're rubbish. But now I'm like, now that I live here and I'm getting postman, etc., calling me a knobhead and that, a cop ace and that. I'm like, just give me my mail and fuck off, mate. You know what I mean? You're that cop ace, aren't you? Ah, rat. And now I want them down. Now I want them down.
Yeah, I think that's a fair enough reason, to be honest. I mean, Tom Lear here in the comments just agreeing that with Steve, play the kids, play the under 15. 15s, yeah.
The under 15 or the under 15?
Just the one. Yeah, play the under 15s would be his shout. Red Hiker would play Damien Plessis. Just bring him back. Don't even know where he is anymore. There's a Flowers as a play arter for a giggle.
Yeah. That's it. Let's have a giggle.
Imagine he was boss. Imagine he was a through centre mid and he just ran the game. I'm
It's like those musical biopics where they get one chance to play the song that's going to get them signed, and they start into crap and they go, no, let me have another go. And Arthur Mello just goes right on, and he just puts in this imperious midfield performance. And Klopp goes, Arthur.
You know,
don't need to buy any midfielders. This
every teenage rom-com ever, like where like the girl with the glasses and the tied up hair, and she walks into the prom and she's beautiful. I'm like, where's he with? That's what we could have with Arthur Mello. He could be the belle of the ball.
The man of the ball.
Yes. Right. Sound. That is the final match preview of the season. The final Thursday Night Pint of the season. Thank you so much for joining us. It looks very much like Liverpool are going to be playing Europa League football, so fuck knows what we're doing with this show next year.
Wednesday Night Pint.
So I just want to say big thank you to our guests, of course, and to everyone who's joined us for the season. If you want to get more from these guys, come and check out Redmen Uncensored. If you're here live, we're going to be doing this pretty much straight after on redmenplus.com, or you can go and check out that and the full series as well. A little reminder, if you go over, join as a Club Captain yearly subscription and use the code YEAR, you're going to get 50% off your yearly subscription. That's just £25 for the full 12 months. And as I've said previously, that means that not only do you get the Bobby Firmino documentary in the summer, all the transfer stuff, but when Liverpool are fucking brilliant this time next year, you're going to have all of the run into us winning the title and the Europa League as well. So yes. Right, guys, thank you so much. An absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
And yes, we'll see you all very soon. Our brand new 3-part Bobby Firmino Best in the World documentary series is dropping this June. And if you go to redmenplus.com and sign up as a Club Legend yearly subscriber, not only will you get access to all of those shows and the extra content, we're going to send you codes for 2 free pieces of Roberto Firmino merch. Grab yourself a mug, grab yourself a tea, and put your feet up and watch the best documentary series this summer.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed the show. Did you know that if you become a Club Legend subscriber, that's a yearly Club Legend on redmenplus.com, we will send you 2 instant free merch codes to get yourself some decent clobber from Redmen merch. So it's a no-brainer. Go and do it.